They call it the Acer Predator Helios 300, and in this video, let's unbox it. Now, I questioned myself about doing an unboxing of this laptop, okay? So, obviously, the laptop that's really the talk of the town is going to be the Triton 500, okay? It's a newer design. It's got a little bit more newness to it. This is kind of an older legend, if you ask me. I mean, the Predator Helios 300 is a laptop I've recommended for years because it just had just such a great build quality at the time. Still has a great build quality. Such a great build quality. It had great performance. It was at a great price point. And so this to me has been a legend of a computer that I've recommended for years now. Ooh, look at that hologram. So I question if I would unbox it or if I wouldn't because it's not necessarily a new computer. But I thought this would be a chance for me to refresh myself on the Acer Predator Helios 300. Pretty good size. It's not huge. It's definitely not small. It's probably about a 240 watt charger block. Let's see what we got. This is a 230 watt charger block. All right, cool. So this is really an opportunity to refresh myself on this laptop, to just kind of check in with you guys. Those of you who are dedicated subscribers, thank you for being here. I love that you guys have been just commenting so much and supporting the channel through your comments and feedback, and you guys have been such a value to this channel, and I'm super grateful for you. So I felt like this is a great time to look at a classic laptop that has been legendary and so helpful for so many creators over the past couple of years, and just see what we got this year. Check out the same laptop and just really give it its proper stage time as it deserves. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this thing. First of all, aluminum top cover. That's one thing that really always stood out to me about this laptop is that you get this laptop for around $1,200 to $1,500, depending on the time of year you're buying it. And it's got wonderful build quality, especially for a gaming laptop. Before its time, okay, so before laptops were, aluminum and magnesium alloy and these like nice rubberized materials, the Acer Predator Helios 300 really stood out. And so that's why I just think this thing is such a legend. It still looks pretty great. It's still pretty great. I'm going to teach you guys. I'm not going to show you yet. Okay, checking out the side panel, you can see we have some more aggressive edges here. And then as you see, it kind of cuts in up here. It's got this nice little design aesthetic that like goes around and then cuts in, and then you hit the main crossbar there. It's got some more aggressive edges. They're not sharp, which is really nice along the top of the chassis, but they are more aggressive. However, this corner is a little sharp on that side, but it's not anything that's like you're going to cut yourself if you like hit your hand on it. Now, along the bottom of the chassis, this is one area that I wish they would improve a little bit. So to be totally honest, this is more of a cheap plastic material. One thing I really like that Asus is doing is that they are doing nicer plastic materials, matte finishes, a little bit thicker. That's just kind of that classic cheap gaming laptop material. They killed it on the top cover and the keyboard deck, but then kind of left the bottom cover hanging. Okay, so that's one ding I'm going to give to the Predator 300 is that I wish they had a better bottom panel. Now, you do have some great ventilation here. Nice large vents for the heat pipes and the fans. And then, of course, on the back of the panel, you have these nice large vents as well. So this laptop, I'm anticipating, is going to continue to cool well, even with the new i7-11800H processor. We have a vent along this side panel and along this side panel. And regarding the ports, we have a mini display port, HDMI, USB Type-A, and USB Type-C Thunderbolt. On the other side, we have our RJ45, two USB Type-A's, and a headphone jack, as well as our Kensington lock. So this laptop does have all the ports you need. I wish they had the SD card slot, but many laptops are not having those anymore. Okay, let's go ahead and open up this laptop, which should be done easily with one hand. No problems at all. There's quite a bit of screen flex here on this laptop. So that's one area that I think could be something to look out for if you're somebody who's concerned about screen flex. In my M16 video, I talked about screen flex, and I personally don't think it is the overall indicator of a poorly built laptop. I think because you have an aluminum top cover on this laptop, that screen flex becomes slightly less of a concern. If you have a cheaper like plastic top cover, then yeah, if you hear some creaking and cracking, then yeah, I would be concerned about the screen flex on the laptop. Now, as we go ahead and get this thing opened and look at the interior design, you can see we have a nice vent here along the top of the keyboard deck, and we have, ooh, such a nice keyboard deck. Okay, nice soft touch keys, great responsiveness, quiet with a full numpad on the right side of the keyboard deck. Quickly access your Acer Predator Command Center. And look, Alexa, what a babe. She's built right in. I don't use Alexa, but some people do. A lot of people do. A lot of people like Alexa. Alexa, go to space. Sorry, that's Blue Ocean. Anyway, so turbo mode right here on the top, power button over here on the right side, which I just turned it on. It still has battery. I just got this thing in. It still has battery. Look at that. Okay, taking a look at the trackpad. The trackpad is something that I do like quite a bit. It's secured well to the chassis. It's got a good click sensitivity. Your dragging and dropping is very nice. Overall, I've always been a fan of the Acer Predator Helios keyboard and trackpad. It's a nice combination. They do have a larger bezel here along the bottom of the screen. Not my favorite thing, but I've talked to some people recently and they're saying because of the heat dissipation that goes up from the keyboard deck onto the screen, that kind of just makes up and gives a little barrier so the screen doesn't overheat. Totally makes sense to me. I was like, oh yeah, that's a great point. So there is some thicker, chunkier bezels on this laptop, which as you know, we all love thinner bezels, but overall just trying to give a super honest review here. There is a webcam up here along the top of the chassis, and here's a quick sample for you. Here's the Acer Predator Helios 300 webcam. It looks pretty good. I like the coloring, pretty accurate as far as the color tones are concerned, and here's the audio, of course. Another thing I wanted to point out about the sharper edges, this is something that I've noticed on a few laptops I've reviewed in the past, and the way that the bottom cover fits into the side panels, it creates this little lip here. It's kind of this like sharp edge. And I just don't love that. There, you can see it right there. And it just, yeah, I wish that was done a little more thoughtfully. Maybe the bottom panel extended out a little bit more. As much as I think this is a fantastic aluminum top cover, keyboard deck, plastic bottom cover, there are some things that I want to point out. I want to be very honest. That's the goal of these reviews, as always, is to not put any brand on a pedestal, but make sure you point out everybody's flaws and everybody's positive attributes. Now, before I go ahead and close this laptop down, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the Acer Command Center and check things out, or Predator Sense, as they call it. And if I've said Asus at any time in this video, I've been reviewing quite a few Asus models lately. So this is the Acer Predator Helios 300. All right, so we check out the different fan modes. We have Quiet, Default, Extreme, and Turbo. I feel like Extreme and Turbo should be switched. I feel like it should be like Turbo and then Extreme. Because when you're Turbo, you're just like full speed. When you're Extreme, you're like a maniac. But anyway, you can easily access those fan modes here. You have to be plugged into the power adapter to go to Extreme or Turbo. That's something that you want to keep in mind, but you can do default or quiet mode on the battery, so that's pretty cool. Fan control, obviously here, max. $5,000 RPMs. I'm guessing that's around 50 to 55 decibels of fan noise. So we'll jump to that later. I'm so curious how this laptop's going to do cooling. It's going to be a lot of fun to check it out. So I was unable to get the bottom cover off, and I have a very firm policy about not breaking laptops which I do not own. So we're going to skip that for now. Links if you're ready to make a purchase, likes if this video has brought you some value, and subs if we don't miss out on the future uploads. I'll see you guys here in the next one.